Here we go. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. I believe meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, it says that on mine too.
All right. Okay, well, let's get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Mackenzie, and I'm on the marketing team here at Freestyle. I'm joined today by Natasha, Spanish teacher extraordinaire.
Hola.
And we are here today to invite you to some of our upcoming events that we have scheduled for our community of adult language learners. And we also want to talk about how these events supplement our core curriculum and why we schedule these events. So they are not just for fun for the community, although we do have a lot of fun at these events, hence our favorite hashtag, Wine the Great Fluency Builder, but because language acquisition theory, and namely Stephen Krashen, whose theories we follow closely, proves that using language in relevant context makes all the difference in long-term language success. So these events are a very big part of why our learners go from total beginner to proficient and beyond. Before we get into the uber fun events that we have planned for the end of July and info on how you can join us, Natasha and I are going to talk just a little bit about our model so that you can understand how these events fit into that.
Yes, hi. So Freestyle's classes are now entirely online and available to the world. So what we're super excited to offer are dynamic, interactive classes which focus on culturally rich learning and speaking opportunities for students, which is so important in learning a second language. So what we also want our potential students to understand is that it is so much more than a meetup. So if you're meeting online without a true curriculum model or without professionally trained language instructors, it's just a meetup, right? So we've worked really hard to put together a curriculum and an awesome team of teachers.
Yes, our awesome team of teachers with teachers such as Natasha. All of our teachers are trained in second language acquisition. What does that mean? There is oh, I think I'm getting, there we go. All right, so there is an assumption out there that native speakers make the perfect teachers. However, one's knowledge of a language doesn't necessarily translate to one's ability to pass along the skills that are needed for a non-native speaker to use that language. So in other words, just because I am a native English speaker doesn't mean that I can take someone who's never studied English before to an advanced level of proficiency. Natasha is a native Spanish speaker, but she has been trained in language instruction, and she, unlike myself, has the ability to guide students to proficiency. So what we do in our classes is we empower our students to practice speaking from day one by giving them the tools needed to have conversations. One of the most important ways we do that is by structuring our lessons and our curriculum around relevant everyday topics that you would use in your day-to-day life. So these are going to be things like talking about your job, what you do for fun, expressing opinions, conversations that you already have in English on a frequent basis. We don't rely on memorization or heavy grammar charts because, again, studies show that learners retain a foreign language best when they're practicing speaking it in those everyday contexts. So while we do teach grammar and we do teach vocab, we do so with a curriculum that is fun, dynamic, and engaging for all.
Yes, so one of the things that I personally love most about the curriculum is the emphasis on culture and exposure to authentic language. So as we all know, language is nothing without culture. So for example, a lot of us probably know the Spanish word agua, right, which means water. But in Mexico, we actually use aguas as an exclamation to say, watch out or be careful. So with just a literal translation, you wouldn't get that cultural aspect and how it's used in everyday speech, right? So what we've done is we've developed our own in-house curriculum and infused it with culture using what we call authentic materials. So what we mean by authentic materials is that these materials are produced by native speakers for other native speakers, which means that you're actually learning the language, listening to it, and hearing it as it's truly spoken. So some examples of this can include movies, TV shows, songs, and they not only help our students work toward native-like proficiency, but they also teach our students about some cultural differences that can vary from language to language and even from region to region within a language.
Yeah, so using authentic materials in our curriculum ensures, one, that students are not using a watered down textbook version of the language, but it also means that our students have something to talk about with other native speakers. It really is a starting point for conversation because these are TV shows or films that native speakers are actually watching in various countries around the world.
Yes, exactly. So for example, right now we are using La Casa de las Flores in our Spanish classes. And that has been so great because it is a hit series on Netflix based in Mexico City. And so in addition to getting the regional slang and the regional dialect of Mexico City, students are also watching something that people are watching in Mexico and in Latin America.
Exactly. So our work with these authentic materials does get more involved as students progress from our beginner series to our intermediate series and beyond. We have the framework in place to take a student who has never taken a language class before to an intermediate advanced level where they're holding hour-long conversations with native speakers. And a quick note on that, I do have a question for those joining us here today. Pop quiz. Natasha, ¿cómo se dice en español?
Pruebita.
Una pruebita. How many hours does it take to get to intermediate level proficiency? And while y'all maybe type a guess in the comments, let me just clarify what we mean exactly by intermediate level proficiency. So at an intermediate level, a student is at a point where they can combine the concepts they've previously learned, but put them together in a new way to express a more personal meaning. So the correct answer is that it takes 500 to 700 plus hours of language input to reach intermediate level proficiency. Hearing that may cause some shoulders to kind of slump, but even though it may not happen overnight, you can go from a complete beginner to an intermediate advanced level speaker. It is never, ever too late to start learning a new language, and we have adult students regularly advance throughout our series. It's definitely possible. It is so beneficial for your brain. It's great for travel. And most importantly, it's great for connecting to other people who you otherwise may not have gotten a chance to know. So it does take some work, but it's why freestyle students meet 3 times per week, twice during the week for our core weekday classes with that culturally rich curriculum. And then again on Saturday mornings for Saturday cafes, our fun dynamic conversation groups. And it's why we supplement all those hours in class with additional events.
Yes, so we arrange these social events to take language outside the classroom and give our students a chance to engage with the language and the culture that they're using in a real context. So as we've said, students learn a foreign language best when they practice it in relevant everyday conversation, everyday context. So some examples of our in-person events include tango lessons, foreign film outings, with post-film discussion led by one of our teachers, and polyglot museum tours. So the point of these events is to give students a chance to use what they're learning in the classroom, using those tools to actually speak in a real life, everyday experience in a real context. So that spontaneous language production is key to making a foreign language stick.
Yes. And while we are now 100% online in Freestyle's live face-to-face virtual classrooms, we are still putting events together online. And in the online model, these events look like Netflix watch parties, which are all the rage with Freestyle students, virtual happy hours, and even live music concert streams in the target language. And again, these extra dynamic hours truly do count towards that 500 to 700 plus hours of input that's needed to reach intermediate level proficiency. So these live music concert streams are what I want to invite everyone here to today. They are a great, easy way to connect with our community and to have fun with the second or third or fourth or fifth, go polyglot, language that you are learning. So to that end, we invite you all to join us for our upcoming live music concerts in each language, all happening towards the end of July. In these concerts, a musician or two will perform a series of songs in either Italian, Spanish, or French. And we'll break up these songs with some discussion, some questions, some lyric-related activities, and we'll end with a post-concert discussion that is led by one of our professionally trained teachers. And these discussions will be broken up by level, so we'll group beginner students together and we'll group advanced students together. These events really do help you reinforce your speaking skills, your listening comprehension skills, and you can also expect to learn a little bit more about the culture through music. So You do not want to miss out. There's no better way to get some additional language practice than with fun, live music, and talented performers. Freestyle invites you all to mark your calendars and join us for the following dates. Thursday, July 16th, for our Italian language learners, we'll be having a concert at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then for French, that'll be Tuesday, July 21st at 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also happening on the 21st, but at 6:30 p.m., that will be our Spanish live music concert stream.
Yes, so these are going to be some awesome music events. So just a quick note, if you are not a current or former FLC student, you will need to RSVP using the link in our Facebook events in order to receive the link to join us. So you'll meet us first in the digital admission booth, so we can learn a little bit more about your language learning goals and your current skill level. And that way we can know which discussion room would be best for you after the concert.
Yes, yes. So thank you for joining Natasha and myself today to learn a little bit more about the role events play and Freestyle Language Center's model. They are fun, they're dynamic, and we do hope to see you there at these live music concerts because they truly are a great way to learn and to practice speaking. Don't forget to RSVP using the links in Freestyle Language Center's Facebook events that are posted on the page. And if you have any questions, you can always call, text, or email Freestyle using that info on the Facebook page. We're here to help. All right. Nos vemos. A biento. A presto. Thanks, y'all. Ciao.
Ciao.